Hello everybody, my name is Jacob from the Dry Paint Pot and welcome back to Hobby Mistakes, the show where I make all the mistakes of my models so you don't have to. Now in today's episode, we're going to take a look at 5 common mistakes that you might already be making, or you might know someone who's making them, and if so, send them this video, it's going to help them. Stick around. Now, miniature painting is a very unique hobby because you can approach it in whatever way works for you. What I mean by that is you don't have to do one specific technique to get the end result that you're looking for. For example, some people prime their Reaper minis and some people don't. Some people pin their metal models and other people just use super glue. And I've seen both ways turn out great. I've seen unprimed models turn out great. I've seen unpinned models stick together. So you can kind of figure out what works for you and just do it. There really aren't any specific rules, but there are a few things that you might want to avoid. These are just things that you don't want to do to save yourself some time or save yourself from ruining your models. Now, these things that you're about to witness have either been done by people that I know, myself, or just commonly happen within the community. I usually see these mistakes done by newer painters, but sadly, I've seen a lot of older painters out there that also make these mistakes. They probably picked up this bad habit when they first started painting, and it's kind of just stuck around. So hopefully this video will take care of that. Warning, this video contains graphic depictions of miniature figure abuse. All vile acts are real and were done for the sake of science and curiosity. Please do not attempt to recreate what you see today, and if you're already doing these things, please get some help. I'm making these mistakes with my models so you don't have to. Viewer discretion is advised. Now this is a common mistake that I see so many people make. I'm all for priming my models, but this is a huge mistake. When you prime too close and use too much primer, all of that primer fills in your details and leaves you with a blob of what was a nice looking model. When a model that was primed too thick hits the table, you can spot it like that. You can really tell by the face of the model. You see, a lot of the sharp details like the nose and the eyes will get filled in and the face will be sort of flat and blobbish. That's the only way I can describe it. Speaking about priming, the opposite of number 5 is equally as bad. Priming too far away from your model leaves bumpy, gritty texture all over it. You see, when you spray paint from a can or airbrush, it has just enough time to travel from the can or airbrush to the model without drying. Depending on where you're priming and the weather, drying times will vary. When you prime too far away, the paint particles will spread and partially dry before they hit your model. The result is all these bumps. Remember that nice cape that your model's wearing? Well, it's bumps. Remember your model's nice smooth face? Bumpy.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
The bumpy texture will sort of go away once you start adding some paint, but just avoid the hassle to begin with and just don't do it. Now, this mistake might not ruin your model, but it's gonna make your life a living hell. Knowing which size brush to use will not only make your model look better, but will speed up your painting. Everyone thinks that because we're painting miniatures, that we need the tiniest brushes imaginable. And while it's really nice to have a small brush sitting around for like fine details or edge highlighting, it can really hinder your painting speed. Now, think of it this way. If you want to paint your room, you're not gonna go buy markers. That would just be inefficient. It would take way too long. You want something that's going to cover a nice amount of space, but you want enough control to where you don't get paint everywhere. And the same thing goes for brushes. Most of the time, it's a lot nicer to have a bigger brush with a fine tip than it is to have a tiny brush. The smaller the brush, the less paint that it holds. Now, larger brushes allow for more coverage, and more coverage equals faster painting. Just try not to use too big of a brush, because that'll hold way too much paint and goop up your details. Now, this is a nasty one, and I see it on a lot of people's models. I think because it's kind of sneaky. Sometimes you don't even notice the mold lines until you're already painting the model because they're hidden so well. But having them around causes some trouble. You see, you must always scrape away leftover sprue bits and clean up mold lines. Now, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, a mold line is exactly what it sounds like. The lines are created when two sides of a mold come together when a model is being cast. This leaves a line or multiple lines on your model, and they should be removed. If you find one, scrape it away using a special tool, or just use the side of your X-Acto knife like I do. Same goes for sprue bits. When you find them, scrape them away. Now if you don't, your models will stick out like sore thumbs. Seriously, you can paint like a pro, but a mold line in the middle of your model is just gonna stick out and be distracting. So don't waste your time and just take care of them before you start painting. Okay. Not only have I heard the horror stories, but I've actually held dipped models. This is one of the nastiest things that I've ever witnessed, that I've ever heard about. So for those of you who don't know what dipping is, or don't really know what I'm talking about right now, dipping is the act of taking your model and just dipping it right into a pot of paint or varnish or wash. It's supposed to speed up your painting, but it's a mistake. Don't do it. If you go online and look up dipping models, there's a lot of folks out there that talk about how easy it is and how durable it makes your models, but these people are not your friend. I mean, I'm all for making sure your models don't chip and get damaged, but they don't need to survive a nuclear apocalypse. Like why would we need to make them that strong? Don't dip your model in varnish. If you're gonna put some kind of clear coat on it, that's fine. I do the same thing with some of my models, but dipping it like that wrecks the model, especially if you painted it really well. Now let me tell you why this is so awful. The first and most obvious thing is that dipping annihilates your details, especially if you already primed too thick. Second, you have no control over where the wash or varnish goes. If you want to make painting easy, then get some Citadel contrast paint, pay someone to paint your models, or just be patient like everyone else and accept that your first year of painting isn't going to win you a Golden Demon Award. The fun of painting in this hobby is watching yourself grow and seeing yourself accomplish things that you never thought you'd be able to do. So those were the 5 mistakes that you should never make. And I can easily think up some more, so if you want to see a part 2 to this video, just drop a comment down below. Now let's check out this week's viewer submissions. These orcs are by Slappy Paints, and they turned out really nice. Everything is super clean. I like the black flames against the yellow armor, and the base is simple, but it's done very well. And this magma drop, I hope I pronounced that right, is by Dave Paints, and I'm really impressed. The blends, especially on the tongue, are super smooth, and the lava base itself just pops. Also, I really love all the gold accents that you did. It just turned out great. I love it. And as always, feel free to share any of your work with me at the Dry Paint Pot, both on Instagram and Facebook. I'll be picking my favorites each week and featuring them in my upcoming videos. Now, this is usually where I'd end my videos, but I have some really big news. The Dry Paint Pot has taken its next big step, and we are now on Patreon. I've got a lot of really cool rewards on there, like Dry Paint Pot stickers, access to my exclusive Discord, and painting lessons. So if you want to support the channel, check out the link below. While the Discord has a lot of exclusive content on there, there are some channels that are open for everyone. So if you want to join in, hang out, see what's going on, feel free to check it out. The link will be at the end of this video, and I'll also drop it below. And there is one more thing before we're done. I'm currently doing a giveaway to celebrate the Patreon and the new Discord. So if you want to be a part of that, you want to get in on some free stuff, check out my Instagram. There's a big post that says giveaway at the top. So check it out. Rules are right there. And I wish you all the best of luck. Now wash your brushes, clean your paint pots, and keep on painting.